Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Show with Daryoush. Today we have two more guests. One is Pat Herberger from Legal Shield. She was our guest two, two sessions earlier. And a new guest we have tonight, Babak Ashteri, my brother. He is expert in Mac OS and troubleshooting, and recently he has started on the Linux, and he has some interesting information about this. Tonight we are going to talk about three important things. One of them is the identity theft that we talked about in the earlier session. But our talk was not ended because the depth of the concept and the problems that happens to the people are too much, and there are still so many things needed to be said and so much information needed to be provided to you so that you know you become familiar with all issues that may happen, and be aware that if you are the victim of such kind of crime, what you can do and how far the laws can protect you and can help you, and what you must do. Another issue that we start from today is about the replacement of the Windows or Mac for the people who wants to look for the other replacements. So far, most of the security issues belong to Windows, but recently we started to see in the security news that there has been some vulnerabilities in the Mac OS, and although both the Apple and the Microsoft are working hard to fix all the issues as soon as possible, but some people are looking for alternatives. Some people are interested to learn something new and other replacements, and some people are looking for open source and cheaper alternatives for the operating system, what they can do. Can they replace Windows with another alternative operating system? And are there any softwares that they are using right now on their operating system? Are they available in the Linux or not? Yes, there are so many alternatives available. Majority of them are free, but there is a main problem. When you go to select a Linux for download and install on your computer, you will face with a large number of different distributions, server releases, desktop releases, Fedora, Ubuntu, Red Hat, OpenSUSE, Mint, so many variations. Which one is better? Which one meets your need? Which one is better for you? Which one is the right operating system for you? These are the things that from tonight we open the discussion about them. And more information about them are provided by Babak. Babak, please go on.
Hello, everyone. I'm Babak, as my brother introduced. And honestly, I thought that I might be the last one to talk. So anyway, Well, the journey started from I've been using Mac for nearly 13 years now. And before that, also Windows. So we had a long history with both operating systems. And as everyone knows, Mac is so expensive, and especially here in Armenia that we live, it's a little bit difficult to get. So meanwhile, Windows, personally, when I enter and log in to Windows, I feel like there are so many cameras on me and they're watching. So, you know, it's kind of a feeling, maybe I'm wrong, but it's kind of a feeling I do not trust that much. So I started to think that what can we do about that? I heard that Linux can be an alternative. My brother Daryoush always used Linux for ages that I remember, and I started to think that maybe it's not a bad idea to test that. I said to myself, okay, so let me think, what can I do? So as usual, I started to search the internet over that, and oh my God, it was crazy. It's like that anyone who wanted, they started to create a distribution of Linux for themselves, where somehow it was nice, it was interesting, somehow it was difficult. It looked like that there is no marketing strategy over this operating system. So there's nothing. What can I do? Some people say that, yeah, it's because you have option. Okay, I have options. What are my options? I downloaded 15 distros of Linux. From the first one was Elementary OS, up to the last one that today I tested was Pop OS. Elementary OS was nice, based on Ubuntu, but it didn't have the thing that I needed, especially that all of them, the majority of them except one distro. When I installed on my laptop, the fan of my laptop started to work without stop, just non-stop it works. So I checked it, another one, I tested another one, I tested another one, and I tested different applications. My profession, beside graphics and video editing, was also publication. So I needed something like Photoshop, which in Mac I replaced it with Affinity Photos. I needed something like InDesign, which again I replaced it with Apple Pages and Affinity Publisher. And I needed something like that, so I wanted to know what's my options. It was difficult again. There are so many applications, something like GIMP, which everyone talks about, and video applications, video editing applications, was interesting. One was Kden Live, which was acceptable, honestly, it was nice. And DaVinci Resolve, which is the most famous one among the video editors. So it was available, and it is available actually. So I started to think to myself that those people who say that Linux is or can be an alternative for replacing Windows or Mac, are they wrong or right? Because honestly, it was, and it is not that much easy. It's not easy to work with drivers. Nobody is like typing codes, you know. copy pasting codes, finding something from somewhere else. You have to do that. You have to do that. So many people, for something, imagine that someone like me, who is not expert in coding, I do not know coding. I just know how to work with Macs and Windows and how to, the tips and tricks, but I don't know coding. So what should I do about that? What other people should do about that? If someone who just needs a computer to write something for publications, a book, a magazine, or he doesn't know coding, he doesn't know how to find drivers from somewhere, he doesn't know anything about kernel. We all just use our computers. So an update comes, it updates automatically, computer restarts, and it works. But in Linux, especially with 2 distros that I checked, as soon as the kernel was updated, which I didn't know anything about, my computer didn't run at all. So I had to restart the installing procedure.
Okay, I think we can continue about that in the special episode about the Linux and how, for what kind of people, which distribution is more appropriate. Pat, following our previous discussion and our episode, I want to know how, if someone become a victim of identity theft, how far the law can protect us.
Well, something I thought I would talk about are some of the protections you get paying with the credit card versus paying with a debit card. So let's talk about holiday shopping, and I'll say more about that, because Black Friday used to be the Friday after Thanksgiving, right? Well, everybody
Right.
now is doing Black Friday specials. I think they were doing them in October. And Cyber Monday is no longer this 24-hour event. It's been a marathon. So a lot of people are shopping online and, because, let's face it, with the pandemic, some stores aren't open, and it's just easier to reduce your risk of getting it by shopping online. So everybody's shopping online, but it's a matter of how you connect to the internet and then how you pay. And you definitely want to have a safe connection. And, I see people maybe using free Wi-Fi, maybe in a coffee shop or a grocery store or something like that. But that's an easy way to get hacked into if you're not using a secure network. Now, if you have your laptop and you have your smartphone, you can use the hotspot from your smartphone to get on the internet. But or you could set up a virtual, private network so that it's more secure. But you have to check out the different ones. I'll let the experts talk more about that. But another thing is logins and passwords. You don't want to use the same one for every website, these shopping websites. And they'll even ask you, hey, do you want to store your credit card information? Do you want to store your login and password so you can just get on next time? I always say no. Never save your credit card to a site. Never save your login and your password. Because when you think about the big data breaches that we've had, a lot of our logins and passwords and email addresses were part of the data breaches. So they basically have that information. And if they have the information for one website, there are statistics saying that 40 to 50% of the people never use a different or a different username and password. They use the same username and passwords for all these different sites. So if a hacker gets that information for one site, they can go onto all kinds of different bank websites. They can go on to store websites and just try to use, they call it credential stuffing, trying to use this username and password combinations to unlock these accounts that people have shopped with, and then use your credit and debit cards. Now, I always tell people, use your credit card, don't use your debit card if you have a choice, because it's much safer to use your credit card. There are laws that have been passed. There's a Fair Credit Billing Act that was passed way back in 1975. It limits most of our responsibility for unauthorized charges. In some cases, it's up, $50 is the law, but some credit card companies say you have zero liability if you use a credit card. But with a debit card, not only is it the time frame much shorter, you have to notify the bank within 24 or 48 hours, and if you don't, you could be liable for the whole thing. It takes a long time to get your money back. It could take a couple weeks versus, hey, if you use your credit card and you file a complaint, you could stop that within a matter of hours or immediately. And I always tell people too to sign up for the financial alerts. I have alerts for my credit card so that if any amount is charged, even if $1 is charged, I'm going to get an alert to my phone so that if I see, hey, I didn't just shop at that store, I didn't just use that credit card, I'm going to be able to call the credit card company and notify them that, somebody else is using my credit card, or you can get an email or a text. I prefer the text. So you want to make sure you're protected. Again, with a credit card, you have to notify them within 60 days of when you got the bill and somebody charged something that you didn't do. But if you have these alerts, you'll know right away. And you also want to know what the seller's return policy is on these things, so you don't get surprised, because during the holidays, a lot of retailers change their return policies. So, when you went into a store, there used to be a sign behind the counter, if you bought anything between this date and Christmas, you can return it by such and such a date. Well, now that we're online, how many people read the fine print? Nobody reads the fine print. Nobody reads the privacy policies. They just don't read that information. So you really need to check out what the return policy is if there's something that you think, might be needing to be returned. And, when you do get a package, people have to be on the lookout for what they call porch pirates. Is somebody coming by and stealing my package before I have a chance to, get it myself. And there are some services out there where you can have packages delivered, and they'll, maybe charge a fee for that, but they're safe and secure. So I tell people to do that also. But if something still went wrong, say you ordered something, you checked out, you were on a secure website, you used your credit card, you did everything right, and something still went wrong, or maybe something arrives damaged, or it didn't arrive in time, or it was, looked okay, but it was defective and it wasn't working, that's when you want to turn to the Fair Credit Billing Act to see what your rights are, or Electronic Funds Transfer Act for debit cards, and how you would dispute those charges. Because if you don't do everything right and follow what their rules are, you could be out the money. You could have this damaged product and be stuck with it and not have any way to resolve it. And also, you want to check your bank statements. There are some people who never balance their bank accounts, and they don't know if something is being taken out and used. Money is being withdrawn from their bank account. So you really need to, check your bank accounts. You can even set up some alerts so that if money is coming out of your bank account, maybe even as low as $100, you can be alerted to that. And regarding, there's rewards programs affiliated with all these credit card companies pretty much nowadays. It's like every credit card, there's something. You can get reward points, you can get cash back, you can use it for travel, you can use it for buying merchandise, you can use it for getting gift cards. But these reward programs are getting hacked. So you might think, okay, well, if somebody gets my credit card information, that's not so bad, because I can dispute that if they buy something. But what if they had your information, your credit card, they had your username and your password, and they find out that, wow, this person's got $10,000 in rewards. This person has $5,000 in rewards. This person has 30,000 points for an airline ticket. They can use your credentials to get into that account and redeem those points. And what they might do is, you might be shopping for something. Maybe you want a gas grill, or you want this fancy purse or something. Well, what they'll do is go in and they will buy gift cards with those points. So it's something that they can then use rapidly on other sites to use up all the dollars that are on these gift cards. They use your credentials. And the other thing they do is if they have your username and password, they'll change your password. So when you think, oh, there must be something or wrong, or you go in to do the shopping, you say, hey, I'm gonna do some shopping, I'm gonna use some of my reward points, and you can't get in, and you're thinking, wait a minute, I have my login and my password right here, I keep it safe, and how come I can't get in? And it's because they changed your password and you can no longer get into your own account. So it's really, now is the time of year when these criminals are really upping their game, because hey, they want a nice Christmas too, right? So if you can employ two-factor or multi-factor authentication on things, so that when you go into a website, I have to send you a text or something so that it's really you have your cell phone and you're getting a text and they say, okay, put this code into the website so that we make sure it's really you, do that. Employ the two-factor or multi-factor authentication. And if you don't want to keep track of all your passwords and logins, maybe use a password manager. Look into that. If you can't remember, I have a different login and password for every account. I must have over 200, probably 250, because every place you go, you have to create an account to go on a website. So I have lots and lots of username and password combinations. And also, if you get emails from these loyalty partners or these reward cards, look at them carefully, because there's a lot of phishing out there. And when you want to shop online, I tell people, don't go and click on a Facebook ad that you see. A friend of mine just got scammed on that, and clicked on a Facebook ad, bought something, there went her money, but she never got the item. And you want to go to the company's website yourself to make sure that you are on the correct website. But also you might get emails from your points from your credit card, and you just have to look at them very closely. I don't click on anything like that. I go back to the original website and see how many loyalty points I have or reward dollars. And you want to shred, not a lot of people are traveling nowadays, but you want to shred your airline tickets or receipts, because they might contain your frequent flyer numbers that they can then use to get into these accounts, and maybe get free hotel nights or free airfare or something like that. So there's a lot of different risks when it comes to online shopping, and you just really want to be prepared. And I say, don't click on any emails or links, just go directly to those websites, and never store any of your information, whether it's your login, your password. It makes it easy. People like to do it because then they don't have to log in again. But this just happened to me the other day. I went to buy something for a grandchild and they were out of stock. So they said, do you want us to send you an email with the item in case it comes back in stock? Well, I got the email, but I was not home. So I went to my phone and I thought, well, maybe I'll, what am I going to do? I don't have my login and my password. Well, you just check out as a guest. Then you don't need your login and your password, and you can still buy the item. So you just have to be, very, very careful. And I read a quote. It said, every 16 minutes, another website is infected by an e-commerce skimming attack. So the criminals can get on there and skim your information right off the website, or there's just fake websites. So many scammers know that people are vulnerable, and they know they're doing a lot of online shopping, and they're under stress. Maybe they're saying, well, I can't afford what I could afford before to do some holiday shopping. And there's just tons of fake websites. And since COVID-19, the FBI has reported there's been a 300% increase in cybercrime, 300%. So, you just really have to be careful and question everything. Don't stay logged into anything, and just question everything and do your best to safeguard yourself. And watch your children also, because your kids are online, and they might be buying some things using your credentials if you've saved them, to a website, and you don't realize, and they go to the website on your iPad, and then all of a sudden you bought something that you didn't realize because your child bought it. And so that's another reason why you don't want to save your logins and your passwords. So back over to you.
Thank you, Pat. Those are very important points, and considering that Black Friday is coming, and after that, people are preparing for the New Year shoppings. Everyone must be so much careful about the online shoppings and even physical shoppings using their credit cards. That was very important. Thank you very much. Kurt, do you
You're
have
welcome.
any questions?
Yeah, I always come into it with, looking at what you guys shared with us. Both of you, seems like you just got us started, and it seems like time ran out on us. So, Babette, can you kind of give us some tips for the do-it-yourselfers? And if people found what you said, Babette, to be a conversation starter, where do people go to search for more, find more on what you started talking about today?
Well, it was a little bit challenging, honestly, because finding trustworthy resources is a little bit difficult. To be honest, Linux is, well, everyone says that Linux is very solid, very safe, everything is perfect. But when I started to test these distros, I noticed that basically most of them doesn't have anything. Even I could not connect to another computer in my home, to my laptop or to my computer. So I needed to install so many other things from different repositories to be able to make these computers translate each other and talk to each other and works the way that I wanted to. So after some time, I started to think that, was it like the other computers that everyone says that it is not safe, or what? Anyway, unfortunately, we only have internet and YouTube mainly, and everyone has different opinions from different countries. There are tons of videos about Linux from India to China to Japan to Australia, Russia, which some of them I didn't understand what they say at all. I just watched what they are doing. And most of them show that how beautiful the desktop is. That is not what I want. Maybe beautiful desktop, okay, but I don't want to see how the menus and applications runs, how fast. I want to know, and many people, I'm sure, they want to know what they can do. Can they use it as a server in their home? Can they use it as a workstation in their home? So finding these resources in YouTube was and is a little bit challenging. We unfortunately may have no other choice just to download and run, and not by live run, because all of them you can run it live and see how it is. That doesn't work at all that much, you know. You have to, at least I had to see how it works. Most of them couldn't even communicate with my Mac computer because all of my works, all of the hard are in the hard drive of my computer. So I couldn't do that. On the other side, I had overheating problem with computer, with my laptop, you know. So the only distro of Linux that I found, which is honestly is amazingly perfect, is Fedora Workstation. And the latest version is 33, and it is great. It works perfect on a laptop and a computer. It doesn't overheat at all. Everything runs smoothly. Honestly, everything that I can't say that I needed, but I try to replace is available. Working with GIMP is hard. Most of these applications doesn't detect right to left. They just can type without correct directions. So for our mother language, Farsi, we have to skip it. I can't use it at all. But for other things, yes, it works. I suggest if people wants to find out that what they can do, of course, I'm sure it takes a lot of time than this. Maybe later I'll tell you guys what to do or share my experiences with you. But what I suggest, as many other people that they, of course, they share their own suggestions. If people wants to come from Windows to Linux, I suggest any distro with Cinnamon or KDE desktop, or the ones that who wants to come from Mac to Linux, choose GNOME or GNOME or GNOME. I still don't know how it pronounces. The desktop is so similar. People who comes from Windows, they don't confuse. However, I should say, other distros, even KDE from Fedora or Manjaro, which was nice. There are tons of menus in menus under menus, which if anyone who is not familiar with all these menus will be certainly confused and, you know, don't know what to do. So personally, as a person who just wants to work it, I prefer this Fedora GNOME version, which is so simple, so user-friendly, and it just works. For sure, we have to find other places to download the applications that we need. There are some other things that I do concern, as Pat suggested, because most of these applications are written by unknown people. If I want to use my credit card, for example, to buy something online just because I think Linux is safe, through one of these by working on any of these applications or even Firefox. To tell the truth, I'm not sure that these other applications written by other people can cause any problem for me. These Linux that I noticed, they don't have a firewall, or the firewall inside it is written by a person, not some organizations that maybe I say, okay, if something happens, I know to whom I should refer, you know. But who are these people who has written and developed these applications, or even firewall, which is basically so important in a computer? I don't know. So still, I think even in Linux, we do need to be careful. Sorry for.
Thank you. Okay, our time is up. I think
Something I forgot to mention, Daryoush.
Yes.
I'm sorry, get to mention, if someone wanted information about our identity theft program, they can just go to my website, which is patriciaherberger.com.
Sure, thank you. I
Yeah.
will later add it at the bottom of the video so that people can see it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, feel free to send your questions to contact questions@aranet.tech, or go to aranetllc.com and submit, and go to the contact us page and submit your questions. Have a good day and time. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.